theme may be one of the most terrifying themes ever written for a film, and it only used 4 notes to do it. And the craziest part about it is that the notes themselves don't even seem that special. In fact, calling them disturbing doesn't even really make any sense. But under the surface, there is so much more going on that makes this theme truly terrifying. Let's check it out. Oh, wow. Okay, so you've probably heard this. It's been kicking around in all kinds of short form content recently. I've seen it everywhere in reels and memes pretty much since this film came out in 2018. And it is Ari Aster's film Hereditary. And just fair warning, there will be spoilers ahead. Colin Stetson did the score for this film, and it is absolutely horrifying, but not for the reasons you might expect. Now, what is it that makes a theme like this absolutely terrifying? Because I'll tell you one thing, it's not the notes. Now, the context of the film matters a ton, and in the context of this film, oh boy, does it add a whole lot to making this theme even more disturbing. But the one thing that perhaps it plays on the most, and one of the things that makes it the most effective, goes back to Ari Aster's tendency to utilize heavy emotional disconnect. The harmony of this theme doesn't make any sense. It literally tells us that we have the wrong feelings for the situation. And that's because on the surface, this theme shouldn't be scary at all. It's very, very major and almost weirdly happy. And it's exactly that which makes this absolutely disturbing. It's an emotional disconnect. Other horror films often utilize music that tells us exactly how we're supposed to feel, and the vibe pretty much matches the scene. It's very common to have a scary movie be accompanied by scary music. It just makes sense. But this one doesn't use that approach, and I think it makes it even scarier. So what are the 4 notes that make this theme so utterly terrifying? Let's check it out. It's very, very simple. We simply have a G flat going up to an E flat, and then an F going up to a D flat. That's it. Those are the 4 notes: G flat, E flat, F, D flat. So what are they doing harmonically that makes them feel so bizarre, and in the context of the film, extremely disturbing? I can't even show you a lot of the stuff that makes this theme so good, because this video would straight up just get age restricted. But if you have not seen Hereditary, oh boy, maybe one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. So to answer the question of what's going on harmonically here, we have to go back to the beginning of the piece. So we're establishing a key center very, very immediately. It's just D flat major. And we hear a clarinet, couple clarinets, just playing D flat major arpeggios. That's it. So we know we're in this D flat harmonic space, and this is where everything is going to stem from. And one of the reasons why it's just kind of bizarre. Even more so what I was immediately reminded of when I heard the introduction to this piece. Tell me that that doesn't sound like this. Right? It sounds exactly like the intro to Schubert's Ave Maria. It's just in a different key, but it sounds very, very similar. We're just taking this major chord and outlining it. Just with arpeggios. In Ave Maria, we go. It's a little bit different, but it's the same kind of vibe. Now, the connection between these two things very well may have been on purpose, because if we think about the context of Ave Maria, it is often adapted to be the Ave Maria prayer in the Roman Catholic Church. It depicts the moment when Mary was approached by the angel Gabriel and told that she was going to give birth to Jesus. And so, what's happening here in Hereditary is, well, maybe the opposite of that. The track is called Reborn, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of the same thing. Except instead of giving birth to the Son of God, it's giving birth to a demon king from hell. So while they sound similar on the surface, we don't have to get very far in before we start noticing pretty significant differences. If you know what that was, that sound, you just know. You just know. Oh, okay, wait. This is important, though. We have to pay attention here. Peter has just thrown himself out the window, right? We presume he's probably dead. Then, there's the shadow of the flying headless mother. Yep, and here we go. Here is this moment. It is easy to miss, I think, if you're not really paying close attention. And boom, possession. And from this point, Peter wakes up and begins to observe his surroundings. And so far, as the audience, we don't really know what's going on. We're just like, oh, wait, okay, is he fine? I don't get it. What an epic shot. That is such a cool shot. Terrifying, but insanely cool. So now Peter is getting up, and he's going to go see what's going on here. And this is where we hear the start of our theme. Oh! That was our only clue as to what just happened, right? Because the click? Yeah, so we are now thinking, wait a second, was he just possessed by Charlie? And now we hear our Ave Maria, right? Now we start building up. Now we're in this D-flat space, and we're starting to build up, and as we approach the treehouse, we're given this feeling, right? And this is where I think Ari Aster is so brilliant, and the composers that he works with. This usage of harmony that doesn't really match what's going on. I mean, we were just absolutely traumatized in the scene before. In fact, to the point where Peter was literally going, wake up, I have to wake up. Wake up, wake up. And this kind of, in a way, almost feels like he is waking up. Just not how he intended. The feeling of this harmonic, just very settled, quiet, D-flat harmonic bass, it's giving us this settled feeling of easiness. We're just like, whew, we can breathe now. Everything's fine, right? And we almost get this sense of like, relief. But this is where the indoctrination happens. Because... Oh! Yes! Oh yes, the vocal drone here is so sick. As he pops up into the treehouse and we discover what's actually going on here, or we start to discover what's actually going on. I mean, oh, these are they're the little things that start to be introduced into the theme that are kind of reminding us that, hey, not everything's okay. This is not, we shouldn't feel settled about this, but weirdly, we do. Feels a lot like a cult indoctrination. Like all of a sudden we're okay with something that 3 minutes ago was utterly horrifying. It's amazing what music can do here. And as Peter begins to observe his surroundings, we find this absolutely creepy cult-looking type thing where they're all bowing down, and we don't know to what yet, but we find out. This is such a brilliant reveal, and such a brilliant reveal of this theme. Peter turns around, and what does he find? I don't even know if I can show you. I probably can't. Let's blur it out. Here we go. There's our theme, our 4 notes, when we finally reveal what's actually going on here. And yeah, it's Charlie's head, from before. They saved it. I hope they put it in the fridge. So we get the ringing, he's turning around, he goes to turn and look, and he sees Charlie, he sees this effigy or whatever it is, and we hear, finally, the theme. Yes! Right? Now, so far, it still feels relatively okay. I mean, it's building up and it feels triumphant in a very weird way, but it's not distorted or dissonant really yet. We're starting to get a little more commotion, the cacophony of the instrumentation as we add layering into this. Oh, wait a second, there was a note that started kind of giving us a little bit of a weird feeling, right? We had our fifth kind of slid. That sounds so bad on a piano. Our fifth kind of slid there for a second to like a sharp 5 and back. Listen again. Right there. Ooh, and it's detuned slightly. It's not quite this. It's more like, oh, yeah, something in there, right? Right? And so we get this detuned sharp 5, and that's our first real indication that like, oh, okay, yeah, we're not supposed to feel happy right now. We're supposed to feel not right at all. And this begins to build up this anxiety. It starts to build up this reminder that not everything is okay. This is really not okay. And we slowly get these things in here. So we get these clues in here. There's our theme again. Woo! So now we have this cacophony ringing out. We have lots of like the percussion, the bells, right? They're chiming, and then we have the brass is doing this like ba 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 ba. All the while we're building up the volume, right? It's getting louder. It's getting a little more uneasy to the point where like the volume starts to get to a point where you're almost like, okay, that's good. All right, we don't need to go any more than this. This is kind of feeling a little bit overwhelming now, and that's exactly the point. Listen to that. I can't quite tell. It almost sounds like it's a saxophone, but it's got like distortion on it. I don't know if it is a saxophone or not, but it sounds kind of similar. But regardless, like what a cool line. Something like that, right? It's just like 1 5 1 and then using the 9th or the 2, right? And so we have all these elements that start to get added in, but so far we're really still in D flat major. What's going on here is we're seeing this absolutely disturbing scene, but yet it's all being delivered in a bright major key. Although D flat major, is that very bright? It might be kind of dark. That's a whole other conversation. Watch this. Oh, here we go. Inner voice movement. Keep going. Resolve. Yes! That right there is kind of the only thing that we get in this entire theme where we escape that just... Right? For a brief moment, we got that kind of sharp 5-ish, but that was only really a hint kind of telling us, hey, something's a little off. But now we get this whole line, this inner voice movement, because we still have that going on, but now we have this voice in the middle that's kind of moving down. We get our major 7th for a moment, and then it just drops down chromatically. Watch this. Then it goes to our dominant 7th. We have a B natural here, and eventually goes to B flat, which is our 6, before dropping down to that sharp 5 flat 6 deal again, right? And then finally resolving back, right? And all this while, we are continuing that buildup of volume, of instrumental layers, of just the cacophony of that's going on here. And then our theme again. Oh. Wow. One more time. Wow. What a theme, and absolutely terrifying, but for so many different reasons than we typically would expect. That's the power of context, it's the power of instrumentation, it's the power of movement and energy and building up this cacophony of sound. Yes, we are in a major key, and yes, we started out very much sounding like Ave Maria, which is about the birth of Christ, and this is about the rebirth of a demon king from hell. There were a couple comments I had to pull up because they're absolutely phenomenal. Somebody said, someone described it as like the victory of something that shouldn't have won. Yes. That is what this feels like, because remember how we said earlier, it feels triumphant. It feels like it's proclaiming victory of some kind. It's just like, not the right one. Somebody else says it's very regal and distinguished, like a coronation ceremony, which is exactly what this is. That's exactly correct. The vibe being so stately and of the utmost importance, juxtaposed with the act of summoning a powerful demon king of hell. I mean, what a great explanation. This whole thing is just weird and bizarre and disturbing. And when you add the context of the film in, whoa, I mean, I think this has got to be one of the most terrifying themes of all time. This is absolutely brilliant work from Colin Stetson and Ari Aster on this film, and I cannot bring myself to watch this again because yikes. Actually, it's great. Great performances all around, utterly horrifying. Highly recommend. And this is not the only time Ari Aster has done this exact trick. In fact, in his follow-up film from 2019, Midsommar, he does this exact same thing with the help of Bobby Krilik. I did a video all about that, which you can watch by clicking on the card up in the top if you want to. Also, this is the final day to grab my brand new ebook at 50% off as part of our launch sale. That deal goes away once today is over. So if you want to support this channel, if you like the content that I make here, that's the best way that you can do it. It's literally less than 20 bucks and it's packed full of improvisational exercises on the piano, and it comes with 40 downloadable backing tracks. So if you are a pianist or you want to be a pianist and you want to work on improvisation, I built this resource just for you. And that way I can give you the option to support the channel if you'd like to do so, while also getting something super useful for yourself. So use that link down in the description. That deal is only available through the end of today. The book will be available after that, but it just won't be 50% off anymore. That's the best way you can support the channel, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you so much, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Happy Halloween. Go watch Hereditary and just not sleep for 4 days. Goodbye.